For many people, ecologically based anxiety and stress, also known as eco-anxiety or climate anxiety, is always rumbling along in the background of our subconscious, causing some level of chronic distress. Sometimes we feel it more intensely, like when we see a news story about yet another terrible happening. Regardless, this awareness feels awful. There's increasing threat of destruction of everything we know and love, and we're all collectively causing it. What could feel worse than that? The mainstream media constantly presents evidence of worsening ecological destruction, but they usually never mention anything we can do about it. To me, this feels like clickbait. These relentlessly negative media posts generate dollars for the media, but they actually worsen the problem because they create more stress, helplessness, and overwhelm. Plus, there's a huge lack of mentoring in today's mainstream culture, including for ecological education and practices. Our culture is nearly ecologically illiterate. We hunger for knowledge and contact with nature. That's why we love David Attenborough so much. So since we've no idea what to do about any of this, usually what we end up doing is we feel horrible for a few moments, anxious, sad, angry, etc. Then, not knowing what else to do, we turn our attention back to what we have to get done today. Scrolling is really a double-edged sword. It numbs and soothes us, but it can also expose us to more destruction of nature, depending on what pops up in our feed. Recently, while hiking in the eastern Sierra, I realized that some short videos could potentially be helpful here. If we break it down, we can all solve this problem just one tiny step at a time. Here's a really key important point to help people move from an ecologically based anxiety state and stress into feeling more empowered and overall better. We've all heard of fight, flight, and freeze, right? If not, I have some videos about these involuntary autonomic stress responses posted earlier on this channel. I think Irene Lyon's YouTube channel also has some great videos to learn about our body's automatic threat responses. Anyway, the freeze state is what our body does when we instinctively feel overwhelmed. That is, the threat we're facing is much larger than our capacity to deal with it through fight or flight. Like when a grizzly bear attacks, you can't outrun it or outfight it. Our unconscious body-mind, not our conscious mind, decides when something is too big for us to handle. So in that case, we become inactive, numb out, and just wait for the problem to go away. The freeze immobility state works great for this hypothetical encounter with a grizzly bear. It doesn't always save us, but it's our best chance of survival in those circumstances. It works really well for opossums, which is why they are so successful in North America, despite being generally slow and not good at fighting. However, the freeze response does not work great for a pervasive, complex, and ongoing problem like ecological destruction. But this problem is still overwhelming, so then how do we come out of it? Well, we can come out of these freeze and stuck anxiety states by taking one small step and then noticing how we feel. Anxiety does not usually feel nearly as bad when we are actually doing something to address the problem. Because then we are actually using the stress energy, that is also known as sympathetic nervous system arousal, instead of just letting that energy rattle around stuck inside of us, causing more distress. And with the way we humans are wired, this tends to feel really good. So that's a win-win, right? Now, there are as many small steps as there are people watching this video. One silver lining to this problem being so huge and complex is that it almost doesn't matter where you start. Not every small step will work for every person, but we can find one that works for us. Steps involving sustainability mean that you're taking action to reduce the harm caused by human behavior and practices. Steps involving regeneration mean that we're restoring the natural world that we humans have removed or killed. Both are needed. Regeneration gets us in contact with nature, which tends to really help us feel better. Your mileage may vary, but what have you got to lose, right? Here's one to start with. Get a plant that's locally native to you. Basically, that means a plant species was here on the land before colonization. Make a little relationship with that plant. For folks who may not have the extra cash to buy a plant, pot, soil, etc., there are often giveaways and buy-nothing groups, and seeds are often given away by native plant societies. Find out what this plant species needs in terms of soil, sun exposure, temperature, etc. If you don't have a place to put it, like a balcony, then there's always a parkway or a vacant lot or something that could use a little plant, right? Care for this plant, see what happens. Does it thrive? What critters come to visit it? Do you start to thrive a little more? Please feel free to leave a suggestion in the comments about little steps that you take to preserve or restore nature. And watch for more upcoming videos about small steps. Thank you for watching Somatic Wise. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons, because that will help YouTube show this to more people. Till next time, take care.